Hey everybody, welcome back to Lamson Family Farms. My name is Max. Today I am starting on the next project, so I'm going to be working on the horse wall. But I just did chores and I just loaded up the pumpkins. This is the last of the pumpkins that were stacked outside for the animals. Last week it was really cold. I think we were in the teens, and we had probably about 6 inches of snow, and it stayed really cold for about the whole week. But today everything is, you can see everything is melting. I think we're supposed to get up to 40 degrees today, and then the next 3 days we're supposed to be in the high 30s or 40s, and then we're supposed to drop back down again. So the pumpkins outside on the porch didn't do so well. They did not like that cold weather. So I got everything off the front porch before they go to mush. So I'm not even gonna cook these. These are just gonna be going directly to the barn. So I did also bake up the last of the pumpkins. So last week I baked pumpkins so we have 2 ovens, one in the commercial kitchen, one in our house. And so I used both ovens every day to bake pumpkins, and that worked well for this year. I think for next year though, I'm not going to mess with baking them. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't need to be baking them. I just did it because I think that especially like the goats and the chickens have an easier time eating the pumpkin when it's baked. But I think next year I'm planning on doing more squash and more pumpkins. And I just don't think I'm gonna have time to do that. To be honest, like, it does take a lot of time to bring in the pumpkins, bake them, walk them back out here. It would have just been easier if I had backed up the truck directly to the garden, loaded it with squash and pumpkins, and brought it directly to the barn. That would have been fine. And honestly, the barn stays warm enough that if we were getting below freezing in the barn, it wouldn't be that much below freezing. I do have thermometers in 2 of the rooms in the barn, and it's been in the 40s to 50s even when it's below freezing out here. So I think the pumpkins wouldn't have like mushed in the barn if I had just put them in before freezing. So anyway, long story short, last of the pumpkins are here. They're going to be going into the barn. So I'm just going to unload these, and then I'm going to get going on the horse wall. Okay, so it's been a little bit since I've given you guys a piggy update. So they're doing really well. I think I had promised last time, let me flip you around, I would show you their new space. So here's their new space. I know I've shown you the space before. We used to have the calf in here. We've had the we've had the cows in here. We've had the horses in here. For a while we had the boy goats. So this is now the pig space. I did a couple of things to get it ready for them. You can see I put in the hog wire. I will probably be adding boards to the inside of that after this round of pigs. It's very secure. I put a lot of nails in it. And it also has the boards on the front, so I know that they can't get out. I also took off this, there was a plywood sheet where that gate is now. So I took off the plywood because it was not strong enough to keep pigs in. I put a gate, and I also backed that with cattle panels, and I secured it to that post. And I also secured the cattle panels to the gate with clips, with like lots of metal clips. You can see some there, and like you can see I put in some larger one, like there's a big one there. And so I need to actually put in another reinforcement, but I took the metal chain from the gate and wrapped it around this beam and secured it in. And then this carabiner is rated to 800 pounds. And I also am going to do one to the bottom. I'm going to secure it to the gate hinge here so they can't push it out this way. And then on the outside of this door, I'll take you around, I put a 10-foot gate, and I put a cattle panel just outside of it. And I also chained it to the door. So, sorry, I heard a goat coughing. It's very secure. I don't think I'm going to have any issues, hopefully. I also, it doesn't look that pretty, but I just made this into a Dutch gate. I just sawed it in half and I added 2 extra hinges to the back. I will probably put a couple more clasps on the front just so that when I feed them, I don't have to go in. I only have to open the top. And then I made this, you can't really see it now. You can see a little bit of it left. This is just a sheet of plywood that I took washers and screws and screwed the pans in so they can't move them all around their area. And then I put in their water barrel and I screwed that to the boards. So I can just go right over the top and fill it up. And then I don't have to go in there to do anything. And then so I just throw them hay. It's been a while since I scooped out this area, so the bedding is really deep. It's probably about a foot deep. So the plan is these guys will go to the butcher in the spring. I will clean it out. Then it's going to be great for the garden. Then I will put in new hay and then get it ready for the next pigs. So they are doing really good. They are very friendly now. It only took them about a week to get friendly. Once they figured out that I had the food and I wasn't hurting them and I was spending a lot of time with them and giving them scratches. So they figured out that I am a friend. And so they are very friendly. They are still pigs and they are growing very quickly. So they are, I don't go in there with them. I feel like it would be fine if it was just one pig, but if I go in there and I'm like petting one of them, the other one will come up and still try to bite me on the ankles. And I don't think it's really them trying to be mean or vicious. It's just they're kind of exploring and they're just investigating my boots with their snouts. So, and they're very strong, and they're only going to get stronger. So I just try not to go in there. You can see my hand for scale. They're probably about, I'd guess 60 to 80 pounds at this point, and we've only had them for less than 2 months. So I think they'll be big and ready to go to the butcher by March. But they're very friendly. They do roll over for belly rubs. They like to come up for scratches. They're very sweet pigs. So they will be going to the butcher in March. One of them will actually be used in a pig butchering class that our local butcher is hosting for some 4-H kids. So I think that's very exciting. If it can be part of education for agriculture, I would like to be a part of that. So he thinks that the class will be either early March or mid-March. He's still waiting to set a date, but one of these guys will be used for that class, and then the other one will just be butchered just on his regular schedule. They will both go at the same time, most likely. So we'll just have to see what happens. I have also floated the idea to Billy that if someone else has a butcher-ready hog that is roughly the same weight as these guys when they're ready to go to the butcher, they're nice girls. If someone wanted a breeding sow, I would be okay to trade that person for a barrow that was going to go to the butcher anyway, especially the white, the white pig here. So there's the kind of black and white one, and then there's the mostly white one. The white one is very friendly and is less bitey than the black and white one. The black and white one, she gets really excited and she just starts kind of trying to bite your ankles. I actually like her a little bit better. I think she has more of a personality, but she's definitely sassier than the white one. So anyway, I have floated that to the butcher as well. They're doing really good. They seem to really like this space. I give them probably between 3 to 5 bales of hay every week. They are doing a good job eating it. And in fact, they're eating, I'm giving them hay from a batch that none of the other animals really like. It was from the alfalfa field, and we had our hay done really late, and it's just really stemmy and it's very tough hay. So nobody else loves it, unfortunately, but the pigs like it. So that is working out really well for us. So they eat some of it, they use it for bedding. They're very cute. They'll make themselves a nest and they'll fall asleep together. They're doing really good. So far, have been enjoying having pigs again. And we're really looking forward to bacon and sausage in the spring. So anyway, that's a little pig update. I will, actually, while I'm thinking of it, let's go outside. I will show you how I reinforced the outside. So it's very wet and dripping right now. You can see behind me. It's all starting to run off from the barn roof. So let me flip you around again. Okay, so this is that big door that backs up into their stall. And there's the horses. I do need to move this ladder. But okay, so I put in this gate. I reinforced that section. I did 2 holes and it goes into the barn and loops around. And then I have that 800-pound carabiner clip on it. It loops through one of the metal beams. So that's very secure. I also latched the door hinge through the gate, and I do need to, once I get more T-posts, but I have T-posts right now that I've also clipped to the gate so they can't try to push out the bottom. And I don't know if you guys can see, but it is very secure. Like, you know, they're not getting through that. Anyway, okay, so I brought over the boards for the horse area. Now I'm going to go back into the barn and get some equipment that I need, and then I'm going to get going on putting up these, I think they're 24 feet. They're either 24 or 26 feet long, cross boards for the horse wall. Okay, so I've got my bucket of tools, which Mary currently thinks is grain. So that's why he's in my face. Hi, Mary. Got Jetta behind us. I do think we're starting to get into our new routine without Wicket. It's been a couple of weeks now. Actually, it's been a month now. And I feel like they're starting to adjust. So, you got grain last night. Still doing grain at night. So they still get hay in the morning and in the evening, so you guys are fine. But they're going to be probably milling about the background, just because they don't really leave this space a whole lot, even though you've got a whole field. But it's been kind of gross out, and I think this wall is going to help them be more comfortable in here. The wind has really been coming through this open side that I'm going to be walling up a lot more than it did last year. So I'm going to go on the other side. Don't knock my bucket over, okay? Because he's going to come inspect that. Mary, it's not grain, buddy. Yeah, it's not grain. Anyway, so let me flip you around. Well, I'll move sides so you can see. Okay, so this is the wall that I'm going to be putting up on this side. You can see I've got the 2 boards down already, so nothing is screwed in yet. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting this board essentially right where it is. It's going to abut right under, there are already 2 boards on the stall, so I'm going to just level them and screw them in. The other one will probably go right about here, and then I'll be putting the outside boards on the outside to match what currently is here, and so it will go essentially flush to the front. Okay, so what I was describing about the boards. So this bottom board is going to go directly under that board, which was already there, to hold up the wall for the stall. And then the top board that I've got will go right on top of this one. So, well, let me back up. So it's either going to go right on top of this one or just directly under the this board right here. And so I had thought about having it higher, but honestly, I don't think that's going to work very well, because if I mount it to the outside, it will then push out the wall further than the current wall. And I want it really just to be like a seamless wall. I don't want it to look like the walls were put in at different times. And so if I went any higher, like if I attach it to the outside of this board, it would jut out the wall. If I put it on the inside, then the boards that I actually do use for the wall aren't going to sit on the beam that I put up. So it just doesn't make sense to put it any higher. And the more I got thinking about it, it would be nice if it was about, so that's about 4.5 feet high, which will be good because that will also give more support for animals trying to, if an animal were trying to push through, it would be more support than having the board way up high and then only having the, the slats of the wall. And it will also match a little closer to the existing wall on this side. So it's going to sit just below that V. So I think that will work pretty well. I hope that makes sense. It's a little tricky to try to explain on camera. It would be, obviously easier if you guys were all here to see this, but I hope I did a okay job explaining that. So I'm going to get to work on leveling out these boards. I'm not going to get this whole project done today. It's already the middle of the afternoon. I most likely only have about 3-4 more hours to work on this today. But I want to get up enough that the horses won't make fools of themselves and get stuck in anything. I'm not terribly worried, but I want to get these 2 boards up. And I was thinking I should probably secure a couple of boards, at least like temporarily, so there won't be any big holes where they might think about trying to run through. I just don't want it to have anybody get hurt before I finish this. So like I said, that's not a huge concern of mine, but it is, still a concern. So I just try to make sure that I'm trying to think of any way, like, are there any things that my animals can hurt themselves on? Okay, I'm going to get to work. Okay, so I got the 2 boards up. I just put screws in them. I should have planned better for this, but I didn't charge my screwdriver battery, so it's pretty much dead. So I'm going to go charge that for a while, and I'm actually going to go upstairs and throw down some of the boards that I'm going to be using. I did measure, so I need 10-foot boards, and I could probably cut some to size while I'm up there too. Sorry, trying to just so you guys can see. So from the top of that board, and I am going to leave just the spacing between the top of that board, this board, and the roof. There's probably like 4 or 5 inches there. It's okay to have I'm not worried about a little bit of wind flow coming in. So I am just going to leave that. I will probably leave that. I might, if some boards are over 10 feet, I might make it so that I can, let me just come out and show you. I can give myself a couple extra inches. I guess that wouldn't hurt anything. I'm not going to fuss too much about getting exact between, like, see if you can see. Like, I'm not going to measure too hard around those boards. So the horses are like, what the heck are you doing? So I'm going to go charge my battery and throw down some boards. And then we'll get back to securing these cross beams and starting to put up some boards. Okay, so I'm up here in the wood shop area. So I do have a bunch of boards up here that are longer than what I need, or just at length of what I need. I need 10 feet. I could probably do like 10 and a half feet, but I need 10 feet. So what I'm going to be doing is I opened up that door over there, and I'm going to throw the boards down into the cow yard, and then I'll need to eventually put them over the electric fence into the horse yard. So I'm just going to throw them down now, and then I'll go outside and move them into the horse yard, and then bring them over to where I need them. I think that's just going to be the easiest thing. I could throw them into where the calf is, but I don't want to do that. Anyway, Winnie's there sleeping behind me, or was sleeping, but now I've interrupted her. So, okay, I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse, and I'm going to get these boards thrown down. Had to take a quick break with the camera while it charged, but I'm back. I've got quite a few boards up. Probably just a little over a third done. So I've got 2 boards leaning up just behind here. You can see those right there. that is the last of the full boards that I have. So annoyingly, what I thought I had upstairs were 10-foot boards, were 9-foot boards, and I need 10 feet. So this is the section that I was able to complete that I with 10-foot boards that I had. So, and a lot of those in that last time lapse that I showed you guys, also annoyingly were 19 feet long. So I was able to get a 10-foot section out of there and then only a 9-foot. So my plan after I put up those 2 boards is that I will have to, let me show you. So I've been already cutting some of the boards up. So those leaned there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've cut these ones to 4.5 feet. They will go on the bottom. They will probably come up about this high. So then I will have a second board, which will all meet halfway and go to the roof, to the ceiling. So that's just how I'm going to have to do it. I have a bunch of smaller boards upstairs, so I'm hoping I'm going to have enough. I've got a couple cut. I'm going to cut up a couple more, and I'm going to finish the bottom, and then I'm going to see how many more roughly I need for the top. So the other the other frustrating part is when I cut these boards, these 9-foot boards, I'm cutting them to 4.5 feet, which means I'm going to have 4.5 feet left. And so I'm going to have a bunch of boards that are 4.5 feet long that I'll need to find another use for because, they were already too short to do the 10-foot length. And it's just frustrating because they're like a foot short. So, but let me show you from this side. So it's gross out here. I've been getting all wet because I have to stand under the eave of the roof to screw in the boards, and so I've just been getting wet. But let me flip you around. So this is how it's looking so far. There is a big gap on the bottom, just right there, the bottom of the first board, because I had to get it level, because I got it really close. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but at the top, let me see. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but right at the top in between my new board and the old board is a bolt. And so it was just sticking out enough that it threw off the boards. And so I ended up with a gap more at the bottom because I had to tip it to level it. And so I'm going to put this board that I've got leaning against the wall over top just to help keep the wind out. So I know it looks messy right now, and that's okay. Some of these boards were already laying outside, and so they've got snow melting off of them. These 2 boards that were leaning up right now, I had already thrown over because I took them out of the cow area last week. So they've been sitting in the snow for a week, so everything's just gross. This is just a big mud hole right now because everything is melting off, and so it's just gross out here. It will look better probably in a few days, and it'll look great in the summer. Ideally, when I paint the barn next, I will just paint this side so the reds will match. Well, the red will extend what I'm doing now. So at some point it will all just kind of be seamless. It'll just be, hopefully look like just the same wall, and it will be fine. But right now it looks a little rough, and that's just going to have to be okay. So anyway, I'm chugging along. It's about 4 o'clock. I have about half an hour's worth of daylight left, so I'm going to cut up some more boards and hopefully see how far I get on securing the bottom half, which would be nice because then I won't have to worry about horses trying to hurt themselves. And then later this week or next weekend, I'll come back and do the top of that. And I also need to get the ladder because I have not screwed these boards to the top board. I've just done the middle and the bottom because I don't have a ladder out here right now. So anyway, I'm going to get going before I lose my daylight. Okay, so this is how much I'm gonna get done tonight, I'm gonna stop here. It's getting dark. I'm cold, wet, so I've been having the water drip on me the whole time while I've been working on screwing the boards in from the other side. So my hat is soaked, my coat is soaked. I'm ready to be done, and it's gonna be dark in about 20 minutes. But I'm really happy with what I got done. You can see I got about half of the full height done, and I got the bottom of this half done. And so most likely next weekend, I'm going to do the top half of that and then get on the ladder on the outside and secure the boards on the top. I do think it would be more secure if I sunk a post, either 2 posts or 1 post in the middle, just to help the board. Because, you know, this is like 22 to 24 feet in length. So, like the middle, it's not screwed up there, but, you know, it would be more sturdy if I put a post here and like a post there, or at least a post in the middle. So I will probably think about doing that. I don't have anything right now that would test this fence. It would take a lot to bust through that, but, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have it be more secure. So I will think about doing that at some point. I know I do have some beams that I could use for this. There was that really heavy one that I didn't want to use for the cow area. That would actually be really good here. And it is really tall. I could get 2 beams out of that. So that would be a good option, I think. So anyway, I'll chew on that this week. But this is all I'm going to get done today. I actually got more done today than I thought I was going to. You know, at the beginning of this, I thought I was going to have to patch bits for the horses so they wouldn't get through. But this looks, actually, I'm really happy with this. Looks really nice. And I think the horses will appreciate not having the wind coming like howling through this side. So this week they're just going to have to deal with that. It's supposed to be rainy this week, but in the 40s for most of it, so I'm not really worried. But the next week is supposed to be cold again. We're supposed to be back in like the 20s and the teens. The other part of the horse area that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to figure out feeding stations for the boys. So you can see them. They're lurking back there because it's almost grain time. I know, Jed, I'm coming. So right now what I've been doing is, she's actually inside anyway. I've been kicking the calf, because she lives in there, inside, while Jetta eats in there, because I have a horse feeding station in the back. And then Mary, I hang his feeding bin from these gates. And so he eats out here, Jetta eats in there, the calf eats in the barn, and then they all kind of go back to their normal spaces. And what I'm going to do is just do 2 feeding stations out here in the horse area, so that I can have Jetta and Mary eat in here, and then I won't need to move the calf inside, because where I put her inside, I'm actually going to be moving, it's like everybody's going to shuffle again. I'm going to be moving my buck kid from this year into that space. So he will be next to, I just saw some deer. He will be next to the bucks. He's still not big enough to go with them. Poe would still just boss him around. But where the buckling is right now in the girl goat area, I'm going to be putting the goat kid that we just had. So I'm going to have to chicken wire the hog panels where she will be going, because right now she's small enough she could get through the hog panel, but she's lonely in the goat maternity area, and I want her to be able to see the other goats. So I actually almost bought 2 bottle baby Katahdin lambs this week, but I talked myself out of it. Even though we want Katahdin sheep again, so we used to raise Dorper Katahdin crosses, and before we moved, we had put a bit of money into getting, we were up to 5 ewes, wrong species, 5 ewes, and we're thinking about getting a ram so we could start our own flock of Katahdin Dorper crosses, because we like having our own lamb. We were selling USDA lamb, and we like the hair breeds, not the wool breeds, because we're not really into fiber arts. So it is something that I want to get back into, and it would have been a good fit. I didn't want to take on the expense this week. They looked okay, but like we've recently put in a lot of money to getting our whole goat herd, CACLE and Johne's tested, and sheep do carry those diseases. So these ones weren't tested, and I would have had to quarantine them with the goat kid, so that would have been a risk. And then I would have had to have everybody tested again, and it was just more than I wanted to take on just to get her a couple of buddies. So she needs to go in with the other goats, but she is still too little to go in with everyone. Right now she does come with me when I feed them, and like she hops around and she smells everybody, and she's been in there supervised with them, and it's gone okay. They've definitely bullied her a little bit, and I've been right there to like stop it, but I would not put her in alone, not even with the 4 Dolines we have from earlier this year. Like they've got 8 months of time on her, so which I like last week I was like, oh, they're 6 months older than her, but they were actually born in March, so, and we're in December, so you know they've got 8 to 9 months now, and they're too big for her. So anyway, but she needs to go in there, so everybody's going to kind of move around, which leads me back to the horses need to be eating in here, because I won't have that alleyway for the calf to go in anymore. And I just heard Jetta cough, so I'm just gonna, I've been out here all day and he hasn't coughed, so I'm hoping that was just, I think he's gonna cough again. A little bit of hay stuck. I did have him on Dex a little bit a week ago because it got real cold and he started coughing again. But are you okay? Are you gonna cough again? Yeah. You got something stuck? I think he's fine. So anyway, everybody has to move again. In the future, if we do add on a 3rd horse like we want to again, just because with Wicket, you know, we had the 3rd, and it was nice because then it, you know, it's a backup in case you lose someone, because especially Jetta, oh my gosh, if Mary dies, Jetta is going to be a hot mess. He likes his buddy, and so it was nice to have 3, because if something happened to one, or like you wanted to go out riding your horse, you still had 2 in the field. Like it's the perfect number, because if you take away one, the 2 still have a buddy, they don't freak out as much. It's just the ideal number. So we're back down to 2. Well, we are down to 2. We've never just had 1. We had Wicket for a few weeks before we brought the horses home, but that was it. And so when we add a 3rd again, I'm thinking about taking this stall down. I might just half it, so it divides in half at the beam. I'm thinking about taking it down, or just taking half of it down, so it will be a bigger space in here. I think this area, so it's, let me put myself in the corner here. So I think this area, it's plenty big enough, but you know when they want to lay down and you don't want them stepping all over each other, I think it would be better to have all of this open. Especially in the winter, once I change out this field situation so they no longer have that hut to go under. It will just be this space. This will be the only covered area this field will have. I just think it would be better if it was all open. Jetta, I heard that. Are you coughing? I think he's still fine. So anyway, I might take that out, and then my plan is at every hay net, and right now I have 3. I have enough hook over feeders that I'm going to put one by each hay net, so I can clip them with their halter to their feeding station, and they'll have hay and they'll have their grain. And so everyone will have their own spot, and so they will know that come grain time, they get clipped up, they eat, and then they have their grain, and they also have their hay. And then when everybody's done with their grain, I'll unclip everyone. And so I won't have the stall. Like, the stall has been great because it's given me another option, but I'm feeling like I have a little bit more room now that I've added on the animal area in the machinery shed where I've got the cows now. And so I feel like I need this outdoor stall less. So now that I've got more options, I think in the future it'd be better to give the horses more free open space. Anyway, okay, I'm going to get going. So thank you guys for joining me this weekend. I'm going to be putting some Wicket clips here at the end of this video. It's been very quiet here without Wicket. I did post about it on Instagram. the week that he passed away, but I don't think everyone saw it there. So I'm sorry if this is the first time you guys are hearing about it. So about a month ago, we lost Wicket very unexpectedly. But we don't know what happened to him. He was fine. It was a Tuesday morning that we found him passed away. So Monday night when we did chores, he was fine. Tuesday, by the time I came out to feed them, he had passed away. He was over here in his favorite dust pile, and he looked like he had laid down and died. At first we thought he had passed away from colic, because that's generally the thing that kills horses and donkeys very quickly, but he did not look bloated. I didn't see any signs that he'd been kicking at his sides. I checked the ground around him. It didn't look like he had been pawing. He hadn't had any new foods or new hay. So it would just have been really weird if he had colicked. And he's never been colicky. We suspect that maybe he was having a heart issue. So we're not really sure. We're not really sure what happened. It was just really hard because he was so young. He was only 18. And donkeys can live up to 50. So we assumed that we would have like more decades with him. So we just were absolutely not expecting Wicket to pass away. It's been really quiet here without him. And we really want another donkey, but we're not actively looking for another donkey at this point. If something comes up that is really like a really good donkey, we will see. But we had specifically picked Wicket because he was very friendly. He would let you pet him. He picked up all 4 hooves. He walked well on a lead line. He's halter trained. He would let you ride him. Like, he was the perfect donkey. And so we have no idea why he passed away so quickly. We had just had his teeth done a few months ago. We have no idea. No idea. So anyway, we are down to the two horses. It was so fun to have him bray at you when he saw you coming. So I'm going to post them here too. Anyway, thanks for joining us. See you next time. Bye.
You're a good boy. Yeah. You're a good boy. You're so cute. Hello. 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 You're a good boy, Wicket. You are a good boy. Good boy, Wicket. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, Wicket. Hello.